So when I get bored, I shop. And quarantine has been pretty boring. So I may have ordered more books. Hey guys, I am Jessie and I am back with another book haul. Is anyone surprised? No. So I have been home for weeks, working from home. My kids are doing virtual schooling, and when I get bored, I browse. I shop, I browse, and I find sales, and I purchase, and boxes show up at my house. So that's how I ended up with these books. Boredom, middle of the night, can't sleep, shopping. So thank you, Book Outlet, for fueling my addiction with your sales in the middle of the night. But not all of these are for me. Some of these books I picked up because my kids are home from school, specifically my daughter. My son's only 3, so he's just in daycare now when I work, but my daughter's in 1st grade, and I wanted to make sure she is keeping up specifically with her reading. She loves reading. She kind of gets that from me, but she struggles with it. She is in extra help at school, which they are actually still doing. Now that they're doing virtual school, they're actually doing what they call them, the extra centers, academic help. They're still doing that. So she has 2 extra meetings with the teacher live a week. So they'll be doing that. So that's really cool. But I wanted to do, what I could to help maintain and even, advance her reading and help her in that area. So some of these books are for her. So the initial idea was to just get books for my daughter. Like I said, to help her with her reading and give her something to do. And yeah, that was the initial premise. So I'll show you the books that I got her first, and then I'll show you the impulse buys. So first I picked up this. It is Belle's Discovery. We are huge Disney people in this house. We go as often as we can. Like, it breaks my heart seeing the parks closed right now. Like, it's just unprecedented. It's like the first time this has ever happened where they've been closed more than a day. Every park in the world, like, it still baffles my mind, like, Disney being closed. Because I grew up here in Florida. Like, I grew up going to Disney with my mom and taking my daughter to Disney. I have worked with Disney. They're an amazing company to work with, to work for, I guess. I've never worked for them. But I have worked in conjunction with them on The Coffee Mom. And they have been nothing but amazing. Everyone I've met there. So it's surreal. But since we are such Disney fans, I got this adorable kids book. And Belle is curious and smart. So yeah, love it. Willow's gonna love it. This is a little, it's not really a picture book, because we're kind of moving past those, but it's not like a full chapter book either. So this is actually gonna push her. This is a bit above her current reading level, but that's what I wanted. I want to push her, and I want her to read things that are above her reading level, and so we can do it together. So this is something that she can probably read on her own, but will need assistance with. Another thing I'm doing, if you're curious, is I'm reading to her well above her reading level. So one thing we're going to start doing, and I'll probably vlog it, is I think they're in my other bookshelf, the illustrated editions of the first 3 Harry Potter books. And I think I'm going to start reading them at night to the kids, specifically the illustrated ones, because especially with my youngest, it will help hold attention longer. I tried reading just the regular first Harry Potter book with no illustrations, just the regular book, and it did not hold her interest. So I know it's not going to hold my son's interest, but I think with the pictures in the illustrated edition, we can get through quite a bit more and hold their attention. So I'm going to try doing that and indoctrinating my children into my love of Harry Potter. All right, the next book is another Disney book that I picked up for her, and that is this little cute little Ariel book. And Ariel has always been one of my top favorites. I was a swimmer, so mermaids, duh, love them. And she is one of my top favorite Disney princesses. Not the top. That's Mulan. All day. That's Mulan. She's up there though. I love Ariel. I also picked up, surprise, surprise, another Disney book, but this is like a super simple one. It's a first step reader and it's Cinderella. So this is definitely probably a little below her reading level, but it's nice to have things that she can do easily to help with that confidence, because that's another problem, is that confidence. This is another like of the step reading books, and this is a step 2, and it's Wonder Woman. I can read, so this is like probably right on par with her reading level. And superheroes, she loves Wonder Woman. And why would a little girl not love Wonder Woman? This is gonna help with her reading and her science. I picked up this sea turtle book from National Geographic. I also grabbed one on dolphins that I think she'll really enjoy. Easy to read and just fun. I grabbed her Batgirl. Again, just a fun, short little read for her. And then the last 2 books I picked up for my daughter are these Star Wars books, because like I said, huge Disney family, huge Star Wars fans. She loves Star Wars. We've got Princess Leia, and then this one is The Last Jedi, so I think she's gonna love these. I'm gonna love reading them with her. All right, those are all the kids books that I picked up for my 7-year-old daughter. Now let's get into the books that I picked up for myself that were definitely more impulse buys. And I don't even know the synopsis of a lot of them, but are you surprised? If you have watched me for any amount of time, you know when I haul books, I probably don't know the freaking synopsis, because I buy them at like midnight when I should be sleeping, and I'm like, that looks cool, and then I get them, I'm like, the fuck did I buy? But I know I'm a like. So the first one I picked up is a little actually outside of my norm, and that is The Quiet Child. This is not fantasy. I think this is like a thriller about this kid that just doesn't talk, and I think there's a murder mystery. A riveting novel that engages both heart and mind. Yeah, it's a murder mystery with like a child at the center of it, and I've been wanting to read more like thrillers and mystery and suspense books. I love like TV shows like Criminal Minds and The Mentalist, and I loved Bones, so it would only make sense that I liked books that are in that same vein. I just don't know why I never got into them, so we're gonna read this. The next one I picked up is Warcraft by Marie Lu. I feel like I'm probably the only person that has not read this book. I've actually never read any Marie Lu books, but I'm really excited to read this. I'm pretty sure it has to do with like video games and this hacker, and it just sounds so fun. It says that she works as a bounty hunter tracking down Warcraft players who bet on the game illegally. That sounds fun. Another one I picked up is Lost Boy, and this is one that I've actually been really interested in. I love Once Upon a Time, and I love how they twist the tales of a lot of like classic fairy tale characters, like in Once Upon a Time, like Hook ended up being a good guy and gorgeous. But this reminded me of that, where it's like an origin story of Hook, I believe, and I'm pretty sure Peter Pan is like the bad guy in this, and if it is what I think it is, I'm so here for it, because I love twisted stories that just are out of the norm and not what you expect, especially when it comes to like fairy tales that are just classic stories. Another one I picked up Beware the Night. I have no idea what this is. None. Zero. No clue. But it's beautiful. So there's that. I also picked up The Hazelwood. This one is much lighter in fantasy. If I am remembering the synopsis right, it's this girl and she goes into her grandma's home in the Hazelwood, and like her mom disappears, and you come to find out there's all these like fantastical elements, but it seems more like urban fantasy, or it's like a lighter urban fantasy, speculative fiction. So I'm kind of here for it because I read a lot of like high fantasy, you know, Way of Kings, Eye of the World. So it's kind of nice to have something that seems like it's going to be a little lighter. And this is YA, I believe. Yeah. And the cover's really pretty. If you can hear my kids, they're like crazy. Another book that I picked up is Burning Glass. I've heard not very many people talk about this. I forget who it was. Someone was talking about it in like an underrated favorites video recently, and I had remember seeing it on Book Outlet and knew I had to pick it up. And just the synopsis, just the first line in the synopsis, where it says, Sonia was born with the rare gift to feel those around her, both physically and emotionally. She's an empath. I'm a sucker. I'm done. That's all you had to tell me is just she's an empath. I'm done. I'm sold. I'm so excited to read this. Book Outlet actually had the other two books 2 and 3 in the series as well. So if I love it, then I'll probably pick those up too. I also picked up Nyxia, which is a sci-fi book that I've heard a couple people talk about. It's set on this planet that only allows children on the planet. So it's like these explorers, and they have to send their children to the planet because that's all that the natives will allow on. So I'm super excited for this. Like, I have no idea anything other than what I just told you. But yeah, it sounds very Avatar-y, which I'm here for. I loved Avatar. I'm excited for the sequel to come out friggin' 12 years after the original. So I'm excited to read this. We also picked up Magic for Liars, which this is an adult. I think it's more of an urban fantasy as well. I've heard mixed things about this, so I'm kind of excited to see what I think about it. But it's got a really cool cover. Yeah, and it's blurbed by V.E. Schwab. So it can't be bad. Blurbed by V.E. Schwab. And finally, the last book, which you know I always save my favorite book for last in a haul, the one I am the most excited about, and that's Thunderhead. This is the one that I do know the synopsis for because I just finished Scythe this past month. And I am so excited to read more about this. I want to know what happens with the characters, like that ending. The ending of Scythe. I was like, oh my god, what is going on? And it was so good, and now I need to know more. I need this. So hopefully I'm going to read this soon. And yes, but it was a scratch and dent Book Outlet cover. So, I mean, really, I think I paid like $4 or $5 for it. So I can probably fix it. I can tape it. But honestly, it's not that big of a deal. I'm excited to read it. Really, for me, it's like I love a pretty cover, but it is the contents that matter. So me and my floppy cover of Thunderhead, we're gonna be just fine. All right, and that is my whole bored quarantine late night shopping book haul. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found some books that you like. If you've read any of these, let me know what you think because I'm excited to dive into some of them. As always, I am Jessie. I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you later. Bye.